Hello, my name is Will Hanke with Red Canoe Media. This is the business approved section when we talk typically about apps. This week or this month, we're actually going to be talking about CRM systems. So we had
what does CRM stand for?
We had
No, go ahead.
Customer relationship management. Is that right? So we had a question from one of our attendees that we could talk about some CRM systems. So we're going to highlight 3 different ones that we use, and then on your table is actually a little half sheet that has some additional CRMs that we're not going to talk about today, but that some of the other e4e members said that they use. Okay, so first up is Highrise. Highrise is the CRM that I use. It is part of the Basecamp project management system, so it's made by the same people that run Basecamp if you use that. A couple quick screenshots from this, and I think it's how we're going to kind of all do it. When you first log in, you've just got a list of things that have happened recently, whether I emailed somebody or I got a deal or there's a new deal or something like that. It just shows everything in one place. Of course, it keeps track of all of your contacts, people that you've talked with, people that you've maybe done work with. Something really cool about Highrise also is it gives you an email address that if I get a new email from somebody, a cold call or something like that, I can just forward that email straight to this Highrise address. It automatically puts that person in as a contact and keeps track of that email along with it, which is pretty cool. So I don't have to go enter that person's details each time. When I look at a specific person, of course, I've got an area where I can add notes. I can send an email to that person, and it keeps track of all that below, which I think is probably pretty common among all CRMs. It does give me some upcoming tasks. So if I have a proposal that's going to be due soon, I can put that in. And along with this, if I put in a note about this person at that specific time, I can also assign myself some sort of a task, which is nice. It also shows what it calls the deals. So these are pending deals that I have going at the particular time. And then if I click on one of those deals, I can actually click won or lost if the final decision has been made. So it keeps track of whether I won that deal, if I lost that deal, or if it's still pending. So some pretty cool stuff. So down here you can see kind of a history of what happened. If I click lost, it tells me I could put in some notes about how horrible that person was. So. That website is highrisehq.com if anybody's interested. And that's part of Basecamp HQ as well. So next up is Tom for Zoho. Is that how you say it?
Zoho, yeah. Sure. Hi, I'm Tom Ruich from MarketVolt. And before I dive into Zoho, which is the CRM we use, I wanted to make a couple of points about CRMs, building on something Andy said. He repeated that common business concept that you can't measure what you don't track. And one of the key things if you're shopping a CRM is to think outside of the CRM, what are the things I'm trying to measure? What do I need to know in my business in order to measure success, in order to make the proper decisions? What am I going to measure? And you also have to have a sense of business processes. What does my sales funnel, what does my sales cycle look like? What am I keeping track of? What are the steps that I take? And until and unless you think through those things and have that pretty clear in your mind, choosing a CRM is very hard, because the point is a CRM is just a tool, and the CRM has to serve those two questions. What am I tracking? What's my process? And while a lot of CRMs do a lot of the same things, many of them vary in terms of meeting the needs of your particular business. And you don't want to put yourself in a tool that defines the process for you. You want to choose a tool that serves the process that you've established. So we chose Zoho. And there are a few reasons that we chose it. First is we were able to get into it for free when we were still in the mode of, well, we'd like to try it, but we don't necessarily want to make the commitment. We were able to do so without making an enormous investment. And then over time, we recognized that it was powerful and flexible. And as you might infer from my comments, what we've been able to do is shape Zoho to fit our business, not shape our business to fit Zoho. Just as an example, when Will noted that you can mark something as won or lost or something like that. What we found in talking to our sales reps is they wanted to be able to mark processes as on hold if they were on hold. They wanted actually different flavors and it's sort of a gradient between won or lost. And Zoho allows you to sort of invent a whole series of statuses for your deals or for your potentials that we found we couldn't do with some of the other projects. Second thing, there's really, really great built-in reporting. All CRMs have some reporting, but fundamentally what we're able to do with Zoho is create any kind of report that we want. I, as the CEO of the company, if I have a question about where something stands, how many of the leads in this industry by this sales rep have converted in the past 3 months, someone who's smarter than I, but you don't have to be terribly smart to do this. Somebody just goes in, builds a report, and says, Tom, here it is, press a button next time you want to get the answer to that question. And so it's really easy to do that. It also has the ability to create customized workflows, triggers and alarms, and if this happens, then do this. If this happens, send an email and notify somebody else. And you can build customized workflows that can, again, reflect the process that you wanted to put in place. I want to note something. I have lost track of what was free in Zoho versus what we pay for because we've been paying for it for so long. So I just don't want anybody to feel baited and switched if they get into the free system and then say, well, where are my custom workflows? I think that's one of the I think that's one of the paid features. Also, it's part of a much broader universe. Zoho actually has been around for a long, long time and had an online office suite, much like Google Docs and so forth, long before Google got into the game, long before Microsoft took such tools online. So it's got a free online word processor and spreadsheet and email system. It has CRM. We use it in conjunction with a support ticket system. So all of our customer support ticketing is done through Zoho Support, integrating with CRM. So there's a whole suite of tools that Zoho provides that can serve your business, not just the sales functions related to CRM. And finally, Zoho speaks to countless third-party tools. So we at MarketVault, we're an email marketing company, and we can integrate our email marketing software directly with Zoho using a plugin that Zoho has or using third-party integrating systems such as Zapier. So when a new lead is added to Zoho, we can automatically port that new lead into MarketVault. When somebody signs up for our email list via a web form or some other mechanism into MarketVault, if we tag them as such, we can put them into Zoho. If I'm having an email communication one-to-one with somebody through Gmail, which is our core email system, and I check a box in Gmail, through integration, I can automatically put them into Zoho. Those are things, integrations like this are things that you can do with other CRMs as well. But in terms of checking the box, does Zoho do that thing, which is fairly common among CRMs? Absolutely, it does. So.
Cool. And go to the next slide. I think it gives Zoho.com.
Zoho.com.
I got to switch this up. So give me just a second.
So I redid all my slides this morning, and because I didn't like the how blurry they were. Oddly, Will didn't get them into his presentation while he was driving here this morning. Frankly, I expect higher performance out of Will, but anyway, probably a lot of us have done, charity golf tournaments and scrambles and whatnot. And so, you've got your A player and B, C, D, and I'm the D. Well, I guess I'll be promoted to C player since our C player didn't show up. But so I'm an amateur here with, doing CRM. Is that better? Am I framed well? Should I be on the other side? No, okay. I don't know which one's my best. So I decided to actually. Well, first off, Mark said that he's kind of a baby business owner because he's been doing it for 6.5 years. That's a veteran for sure. I've been in it for like 1.5 years. So, but one of the reasons I decided to move to CRM to begin with from just Outlook was, for one thing, I noticed that I was meeting people and would have a great initial meeting, and then 2 years later I'd remember them. And it's like there's such lost opportunity, and it's a little awkward to send that email. You might not remember me, but we met 2 years ago and it was wonderful. And then the other thing was I had a Monday morning, just a kind of a bad experience. I got up in the morning, checked my calendar, nothing on it, and ready for my day, and then someone calls me up, says, "Hey, are we still on for lunch?" I said, "Yeah, of course." So, almost, tragedy narrowly averted. So it was kind of an early lunch, and as I'm walking out, I noticed that I've got a couple of voicemails, and I had double booked a lunch, and neither one of them found their way to my calendar, so I thought I'd better get a little bit more organized. So I went with Salesforce because of its integration with Outlook, basically, although I assume Zoho probably does and some other ones. But so I'll just show you a few things about it, and what I like is the integration, and I'll talk about that more at the end. But so this is a form for entering contact information, and I apparently wasted my time redoing my slides because I can't even see them, and I'm really close to them. So note to self. But so at any rate, you've got your typical information, name and company and all that kind of stuff. But a couple of things that I like about it is you can add fields that are interesting to you. So I've got I'll be doing a presentation for the University City Chamber in a couple of weeks, and I'll be sending out emails to people who might or might not be interested in that. And so I have this field here that's informational emails, and so everyone who has that checked in their record, I can pull a list really easily, and then export that to Market Vault, who I use for those kind of mass emails, and we'll be on our way. So another thing is their industry over here. So whoever you are, if you're in my system, I can. I get a lot of people who for instance need the names of some CPAs or something. So rather than remembering all the CPAs that I know and love, I can just pull a list of CPAs. So, and then this kind of helps me solve my problem of not really taking care of relationships that are important versus ones that maybe not so much. But there's a relationship level from 0 to 7, and so I can not that I've categorized all of you or anything, but. But I will say that a few of you are 7s. But anyway, that helps me, make sure that I'm spending time with the people that would have more potential for doing business with each other. And then down here, I did a little drop down. It's the same form, but this is where the contact or whatever came from, and of course e4e is highlighted here, but. And another thing that I like about Salesforce is that you can have create email templates, and it'll automatically do mail merge and that sort of thing. So this is an introduction template. It looks like I'm introducing Bill Purnett to Will Hanke. Maybe you all know each other already. I don't know, but so generally I'll make sure that if I feel like there'd be a good connection, generally, wow, I got to quit. Generally, I'll contact him to make sure it's good, and then I'll send him this introductory email. And this, the information about Bill is pulled directly from his record in Salesforce, and then I cut and paste the other one for Will. So I mentioned that one of the things I like the best about Salesforce is that it integrates with Outlook, and so all of my contacts flow from Salesforce through Outlook, and then also from Outlook to my law firm practice management system. So if I add people or change them, I always do that in Salesforce. Calendar events, I do opposite. I go, I manage my calendar through Outlook, and then it syncs up to Salesforce, and so you can change how that works. So, and then one last feature is, this is Will's email from a couple of days ago saying, you need to get your slides to me. So this is, if you can see that Will shows up when the email comes from him, and I can click on this little button, and it'll automatically add that email to his record in Salesforce. And so I can easily see, the interactions that I've had with people that are important to me. So. You are 7, in fact. Yeah.
The 7 at the top or the bottom? Yeah.
I'll leave it at that. I won't disclose the math behind the algorithm, but it's there. So.
Okay, so I guess we're out of time for. Oh, we have 5 for questions. Okay, so let's do some questions, and don't forget that flyer's on your table too if you guys have any need to look up any of the other CRMs. So over here. Oh, wait a minute. Let's get the microphone.
Over the years, we've merged or used lots of programs for CRMs. Currently, we use Dropbox and Slack.
Okay.
Do these softwares merge easily instead of, because the last thing I want to do is take 100 gigs of information and now have to try to reprioritize it in another system. Is it easy to take like a program like Dropbox and load all the documents into a Salesforce or a Zoho?
Yeah, I would assume so. I don't have experience doing that. Salesforce is probably the biggest one that would do that quite well. Yeah.
Will any of these integrate better with Google as opposed to Outlook? Because we personally use Google and Gmail and everything.
We use Google, and so that was a factor. I think that the short answer to your question is yes, some are more suited to integrating with Google than with Outlook. What I would say, though, is that most will integrate with both, and that the whole notion of application integration has gotten much easier and much more seamless than it was just 2 or 3 years ago, when it used to be really a hassle to have certain applications talk to other applications. So.
And at the same time, we've also got third-party things like Zapier, like you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
That helps make some of that connection as well.
Yeah, I mentioned Zapier, zapier.com, and the notion behind Zapier is that it serves as the hub of the wheel. It's sort of an integrator between applications. So we at MarketVault, as an example, have built an integration so that if something triggers in MarketVault, then something else can happen in another application. Or if something happens in another application, then something can happen in MarketVault. Trigger, lead is created in MarketVault, put it somewhere else. Action, lead is created somewhere else, put it in MarketVault. The role that Zapier plays is that there are 600 or 700 different applications that have connected themselves to Zapier. And so instead of us having to build 600 or 700 custom integrations, we've built one integration with Zapier, our triggers, our actions, and by building that one integration, we are now connected to 600 or 700 other applications.
Some of my clients, when they have remote people and stereotypically salespeople who are running around making phone calls, they have a hard time getting that information back into the CRM. Is there any applications that you know of that make that easy?
I would answer the question by saying the application is the process. So the breakdown is often in not clearly defining working procedures and processes and expectations. Now, in terms of making those working processes and procedures easier, the answer is going to be dependent on the particular CRM application in many cases. But one of the things that that we've found is that the mobile tools, the mobile versions of the CRMs make it far easier now than it used to be. So it's much easier after a meeting to just get in the front seat of your car and quickly jot in a couple of notes. Even if they're incomplete notes, the record is created and then updating the record can be done at the desktop. We've also used integration so that sometimes it's easier to just put a note in a note application, but set it up so that if there's a certain keyword or a tag in that note, it automatically passes as a record into the CRM using some sort of integration through Zapier. So there are a variety of tricks, but it begins by setting a checklist. You know, once you have a meeting, here are the expectations. Check, 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 and sticking to it, training your employees to follow that. You have better luck that way.
Yeah, I use, I'm, a firm of one, and I've got an administrative assistant, and we use Nosby for task management. And I can take if I meet with someone, say get their business card, I can take a picture of their business card, and the little button on your iPhone where you can email or text the picture. Well, I've got a Nosby button, and it'll Nozbe, and it may be Nosby, I don't know, but whatever. So, but it'll automatically create a task and assign it to my assistant, and then she takes care of it. So it's kind of process being important. So.
Okay. Thank you. I think we're out of time. I appreciate your time. Thank you.